From the time she was a young teen, Emilie struggled with substance abuse. Experimentation led to habit, and habit eventually hardened into an addiction that held her captive for years, notwithstanding occasional periods of wellness. Emilie carefully concealed her problem, especially after she became a wife and mother. The beginning of her deliverance did not feel like deliverance at all. One minute, Emilie was undergoing a routine medical exam, and the next, she was being driven by ambulance to an inpatient treatment facility. She began to panic as she thought of being separated from her children, her husband, her home. That night, alone in a cold, dark room, Emilie curled up on her bed and sobbed. Her ability to reason diminished until finally, overcome with anxiety, fear, and the oppressive darkness in that room and in her soul, Emilie actually thought she would die that night alone. In that desperate condition, Emilie somehow summoned the strength to roll off her bed and onto her knees. Without any posturing that had sometimes been part of her previous prayers, Emilie completely surrendered herself to the Lord as she desperately pleaded, "Dear God, I need you. Please help me. I don't want to be alone. Please, get me through this night." And immediately, as he had done with Peter of old, Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught her sinking soul. There came over Emilie a wondrous calm, courage, assurance, and love. The room was no longer cold. She knew she was not alone, and for the first time since she was 14 years old, Emilie knew everything would be all right. As she awoke unto God, Emilie fell asleep in peace. And thus we see that if ye will repent and harden not your hearts, immediately shall the great plan of redemption be brought about unto you. Emilie's healing, her recovery, and ultimate deliverance took months, a long time, with treatment, training, counseling, during which she was sustained and sometimes carried by his goodness. And that goodness continued with her as she entered the temple with her husband and children to be sealed together forever. Like the people of Zarahemla, Emilie now gives thanks as she reflects on the immediate goodness of God and his power in delivering her from bondage.